So, hope you guys like this video. We're trying to give you guys some quick information on how to camp cheaply, especially if you don't really have any experience for it. Now, there's a lot of you guys who probably have experience camping, and some of this kind of seems like it's overly basic. But some people have no idea how to camp, and that's kind of my goal. I really want to help those people. All right, today, guys, we're going over some quick stuff about bags. Obviously, the bigger, the better when it comes to most bags, especially for you beginner campers out there. You don't really know what you need and what you don't yet, and sometimes it takes a little bit of experimenting to figure out exactly what you need and what you don't need. Now, I'm going to go over two types of like basic bags that I like to camp with. These are like your store-bought, maybe Amazon, 45 liter it says here. This is just like a generic brand, I think. To find the label or something on here. But a lot of bags like these exist, varying grades of quality and stuff, but they're mostly made out of what's like tent material. They have a lot of cool features. They got like little things for water lines and separate bags. This one even has a little fly underneath here that you unzip, and it's the shape of the bag. It comes out and overlaps the whole bag and keeps your stuff dry. It's kind of like a water resistant cover. These bags, I'll put up some pictures and information on the price in between the segment here. But these bags are great for beginners and stuff, but they're not very rugged. They're really just not a heavy duty bag, but they will work. Again, we're talking about how to get out in the woods and get camping for cheap. But with that being said, we also have what here is just some military surplus bags. And this is like the U.S. Army edition one. There's various editions and types. I forget the name of this one. I will put it up in the video here and where you can get one. But sometimes they come as a combo. You can get like the assault pack with it, this is like the size of a normal backpack. But they actually clip onto the front here. So you can like really load both of these bags up if you really want to take a bunch of gear with you. And why I mentioned the military surplus stuff is this stuff is rugged. This is built for war, and you can't have crap breaking in war. And I'm sure there's some military guys who will probably beg to differ on the quality, but I'm here to tell you these things work great for your everyday camping needs. Tons of space, great big side pouches, tons of webbing, access from the bottom, just like on these bags. They both have like a tube style you can pack from the bottom or the top and get into your gear in whatever order you need. I mean, just you can throw all kinds of stuff. Now, all of these have like secret storage and the flip up lids, and I want to show that real quick because there is a little bit in this one as well, not as much, but also both of these have frames in them. These allow you to carry a lot more weight and kind of bear it down onto your hips and less on your shoulders. Even this bag has something like that, but it's more like two aluminum rods that slide down in there and can be removed if you wanted to wash it or something. There's the brand right there, Ozark Trail. Actually, pretty good brand. Overall, I don't use this bag as much anymore as I do with this stuff. You know, when you buy military surplus, it's used and it's got different grades of like A, B, and C depending on the quality. And it really makes a difference on, you know, what you get. Sometimes they'll have tears in it and stuff like that. Sometimes it's minor stuff you can repair and you can save yourself a lot of money. I really highly suggest the military surplus stuff if you're going to do this for a while and you really want to do it more than once. All right. We're moving on to sleep gear now. This is where it can make or break a camping trip. You know, some guys, they can just sleep right on the dirt. They don't care. It doesn't really matter to them. I've been in that situation before. Sometimes you got some soft leaves. Sometimes you get some pine needles or something like that. You can kind of use as a soft bed, but primarily I'm choosing between these three types or a combination of them. Now, this is like a fold up, I call it like the egg carton style foam. Not super comfortable in my opinion. This is the Ozark Trail. These are kind of like will get you by. They do technically act as a thermal barrier. So they will help you in the cold, separate, you know, your body from the ground and won't allow you to wick heat out into the ground, which can be a really big difference if you are cold weather camping. But due to comfort reasons and the size, I mean, it doesn't really pack down any better. It does fold up, but that's about what you get. So I typically don't take that. It's kind of like my spare if I want to take somebody with me camping and I want to loan it out. This is our next foam. You can see it's got, not quite an inch thick, but this works as a really good thermal barrier. It is not super comfy, but it is more comfy than that. And it obviously doesn't pack down very small. So if you're going to take it, you're definitely adding some room. It comes with 2 little elastic straps that allow you to kind of like just run a strap through and carry it on the bottom of your rucksack. And then this is a military grade. I believe it's made by, Thermarest. Now, Thermarest makes some really, really comfortable, really awesome sleeping mats. But this is the military's version that they kind of like got Thermarest to make for them. And if you buy these are actually typically cheaper. And I'll put some prices up here just to show you between this and a regular Thermarest mat. But they are just as comfortable. I don't want to say more durable or less durable, but they are very durable. A lot of times you just unroll it. You open up this little valve, and then they have foam in here that will expand and it will fill, and you can close this valve. As they get older in time, I store mine in a vacuum, which means I roll all the air out of it and then close the valve. So I don't know if that's good for it or not, but it does make it pack down quite small. And I'll actually end up opening this, and especially in the cold weather, you have to blow a few breaths in it, kind of pinch it off here, and then trap some pressure in there. And it will shrink from your breath cooling and stuff. But in the really cold weather, this thing will work. And in really cold weather, I will actually take this, put it inside of this roll, wrap it all up as one combo, and take it with me. And it really, really makes a huge difference. It keeps you off the ground and keeps you way warmer and way more comfortable. And comfort can be a huge deal when you're camping. I mean, doesn't seem like it. Seems like you're going out there to be in the woods, but if you make it really miserable for yourself, you probably won't go out again. So now some people also do ground cloths. Why that is important is really about trying to keep you off of the ground and keep the moisture from getting to you. Now, you don't need to have a ground cloth to go underneath your tent. A lot of tents have the bottoms are waterproofed, but if you're not using a tent and you're going right on the ground, it's a good idea to bring a ground cloth. A lot of these solutions, like the foam, is not going to hold a lot of water or anything like that. The Thermarest can get moist, but it dries out pretty good if you lay it out and allow it to. If you're going to be using a 3-layer bag or a 2-layer or even really thick single layer, they do make a lot of them with bivy covers that allow them to be waterproofed. There's Dimitri coming in to inspect the camping gear. And pillows. Pillows is another thing. Sometimes I'll even take a little pillow like one of these and just squish it right down and stuff it in my bag just out of convenience. It works great. Some people use inflatable bags. All right, so we're going over sleep systems now. Now you can get single layer, really comfortable cold weather bags. You can get 2-layer ones, and you can get 3-layer ones, and I think they even go higher than that. But the most I have experience with is this is my 3-layer one. You've seen this probably in a lot of Sam's videos, and anything I've posted about camping, I've used this for years. Actually, Sam's got me this originally as a gift, and I love it. It is synthetic, so it doesn't have down. It's not super heavy. But we have super thick inner layer, nice thick secondary layer, and then a waterproof bivy layer on the outside. And I've camped in some really, really cold weather in this. I think we've been down to the negative 20-degree area with snowstorms and stuff. You can literally just lay this right in the snow. I would say after having it for a few years, I don't know if the thermal stuff's just gotten compacted. It's not as good in the freezing cold, or I've become softer. I'm not sure, but it does work. I would say if worst case, I just have to wear some sweats to bed and some really, really, really cold stuff. But this goes back to the ground cloth thing. If you have a bivy layer on the outside here, you don't necessarily need a ground cloth or anything like that to worry about keeping you dry. If you want to keep your gear dry, that's a different story. But this is a really great bag. Now, back to military surplus stuff. They actually have 2-layer and a single layer, older style, they're really comfortable. They're just down and they're very, very heavy. You can pack them down really well, and I'm actually going to show you in a second why a compression sack, like this compression sack, came with the bag, has straps all down the side, and I actually add another strap, sometimes 2 straps around it, which allow you to kind of squeeze it all down and then cinch it and make it really small so you can fit it in your pack. Now, this is a big, thick bag, and I'll show you in just a second how small it gets. All right, so this is obviously Ozark Trail. This is kind of the information on it. It says that it's rated down to -10. A couple little more measurement stuff. This stuff's kind of worn off, but you can see this is the size of it with all 3 layers packed into it. I've just stuffed it in there. I haven't compressed any of it yet. I just got the top closed, and that's it. This is it with just 1 cinch strap in the center. As you can see, it kind of gives it a little bit of an hourglass shape. And this is the final product size here. You can see packs down a lot smaller when you use a nice compression bag on it. You can actually get 2 straps around this and make it even a little more cinched. But this isn't obviously one of the smallest packing ones either. This is still a decent size and will take up quite a bit of room in your pack. But like I said, sleep gear is very important. Just as a quick comparison, guys, I want to show you, this is my 3-layer compressed Ozark Trail sleeping bag. And I just want to show you in size compared to just like, this is a regular like Walmart, probably Ozark Trail if I could find the label, but basic like 40-degree bag. Definitely not anywhere near as insulated, but you can see even when it's packed down, they're about that same size. This one's a little denser, just a little heavier, but they take up similar space. So if you can, you know, really get a nice bag or a multi-layer bag like this and pack it down, get a lot more bag. And let's say 2 people go camping and you need to share bags and it's not going to be that cold. There's 2 bags in that, really, if you think about it. All right, on to the next part. So water, electrolytes, and food. So you don't have to get a fancy water bottle. I have fancy ones. I have not so fancy ones. I have cheap ones. I have everything in between. But these, again, are military surplus gear. These are just plastic canteens. I don't remember how many liters they hold, but maybe like a 1 liter, maybe a little more than 1 liter. But plastic bottle. There's actually like a fitting on here, I think, so you could actually put like a drinking line in there and hook it up to like a gas mask or something. Military's got some crazy requirements for their stuff, but the cap just screws off here. And, you know, basic water bottle, but they also come with this really cool tin cup that fits right on the bottle, takes up no extra space. You can kind of open the handles. You can put these right on some fire if you need to. I frequently will put these right on a little burner and boil some water in them. They're just great all around for hot, cold, everything in between. Soups, cereal, anything you can think of. It's kind of like a good all-around tin cup. And it's why a lot of times my brother and I actually just go camping with Milsim stuff, because it kind of checks all the boxes. So I like to show it off. I'll even put a little picture up to show like a link and about how much they cost, and if you guys want to look into them. I bring up water bottles because it's really easy to get dehydrated when you're camping, especially if you go way out into the woods, got a long hike or something like that. Sometimes we go out there a little ways, and it's just good to, these take up no space. You can throw them right in your little side pouches of your bags and stuff, and, you know, give yourself little electrolytes, help yourself stay hydrated. I always throw a couple of these in there just in case we like need them, but sometimes it's nice to just have a little flavor in your water. These are Mountain House meals. Now these are like kind of the textbook YouTuber camping food, I would call it. You just boil some water, pour it in here, seal it up, follow the basic directions in the back, and you have pretty good food. It's not bad. These kind of are expensive if you ask me, because you can kind of prep a lot of food ahead of time before you go. I do want to do a video eventually on cooking at the campsite versus just reheating something you previously made once you bring, and then, you know, why one's better versus the other. Now, I'll just do a quick thing on tools. This is actually a like knife thing that my dad gave me. Got it out of the case finally. It's got like a little serrated blade on the back. Just helps when you're busting up firewood, or if you got to cut some rope, or just, you never know when you're going to need a blade out in the woods. This one's kind of a little bit overkill for a lot of stuff. I bring a small knife and this as well, so it's not like, you know, you have to have one or the other. Now, a quick shot just to show you. This is my U.S. Army rucksack, packed up with a majority of the things I would need if I was going on a camping trip. I do want to show how much room is still in the pack, and obviously this is without the additional assault pack that can clip on the front here, which is basically backpack sized. That allows you to add a lot more stuff if you want to. Remember, you know, ounces equals pounds and pounds equals pain. So if you put too much weight on your back, you're going to hurt yourself. And also, properly loading the weight on your back is important as well. But you can see here, we have a whole empty pouch here. Normally one of these entire pouches I reserve for snacks, an extra battery, which I did put over here for charging devices and stuff. Just a little Amazon battery pack. As many of you might know, I am diabetic, and so I have to carry extra sugar with me, insulin, all kinds of stuff. And, you know, so I have plenty of room. This will show you. I just threw some things in here so you could see how much can fit in here. Threw an extra meal in there. There's a pillow. There's my backpack stuffed down in there. It's hitting the bottom of the bag, and then there's my Thermarest pad. Now, you can take those pads and keep them rolled up and just run them across here and feed your straps around them so it's carrying it kind of low and have more space in here. But that's totally up to you. So, honorable mention. Everybody likes to talk about fire starting and stuff, but this is honestly the cheapest and most reliable way to start a fire. I'll fight anybody over this. We'll do some more gear reviews. We have all kinds of different gear. I could do probably an hour-long video on gear, and I'm telling you, if Samps did a video on all of his gear, he could go for some serious amount of time. Hope you like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.